Well, hello, you. Good evening to you, fellow internet dweller, and welcome to another edition of the Geeknd Live. We're doing it again. I'm back in the shed. It's another Thursday, early evening here in the U of K. And you might have noticed, I think I'm wearing the least amount of layers ever for one of these streams because it ain't chilly in the shed anymore. So I've got one less thing to complain about. But I am worried for your sake that soon it's going to be pretty damn hot in this shed. So I am not ruling out broadcasting naked. At some point that might happen. So just putting it out there now. You know what to do. Unsubscribe if that's not for you. It might not happen. And actually, this is the show that does seem to cull subscribers. Last week was a record. Lost loads from last week's stream. So I'm wondering if I mentioned The Last Jedi in last week's stream. Probably said I liked it. That's usually the trigger. I can see some of you here, which is great to see. Cameron was the first in the chat tonight. Hello, my friend. Good to see you're ready. Peter's here as well. Hello there to you. That's the first hello there of the evening, won't be the last. Hey there, YouTubers. Simon D is here, as is Gaz Nottingham. Pridonian, my friend. I'm good, thanks. I hope you're well. I hope you're all well. And you've finished work on time. That's always good. It's always good to, if you can get away with it, start work late, but certainly finish it on time. That's something you definitely... Whoa, giant cookie. That's something you definitely need in your life, as well as finishing work on time. You got the tea on as well. Beautiful, my friend. Nikolaki's here too. Cameron is doing well, so that is good. Yeah, Naked Broadcast could revamp the whole YouTube site, or maybe I'll have to go on to a different type site. Who knows? It's not going to be a pretty site, though. That I do know. David, hey, mate. Good to see you. And David Milano is in the house. Saley Red's here, too. It is good to see all of you here. So what do I have in store for tonight's alleged entertainment? Well, a couple of things. What did I write down in my notes? We're going to take a look. Actually, something that's not in the show notes, something I just noticed before we came on air, is that some new Andor set pictures have been leaked. Not great pictures. I'm really selling this already, aren't I? Those drone type pictures, but it does show some stormtroopers, which is always exciting. So we'll take a look at that in a moment. Also, Mark Hamill has been a legend on Twitter, as per mostly usual. And we're also going to talk about the Snyder Cut. At least I'm going to give you my views, my thoughts, nothing too in depth, as you've probably got used to from me by now. So I like that one. Didn't like that one. That's about it. Evocative words, mostly used. And I want to know what you guys have thought of it as well. If you've seen it, of course, maybe some light spoilers, but I don't know if spoilers really count for this thing, seeing as the film was out really. What was it, 4 years ago or something, 3 years ago? So we'll talk about that. And also a few weeks ago, when the Godzilla versus Kong trailer came out, we talked about that, didn't we? And it's about to drop in the States. I think it's been out in the Far East, some parts of the Far East for a little while now. So some early reviews have come in. So we'll just take a quick look at those as well. And also some cool Japanese toys that I stumbled across on the internet. Yeah, one of those rabbit holes. Right, so as you know, I do always come to the chat, so react, tell me what you think about the various things we go through in tonight's show. I will always come back to the chat, and I pretty much cover. I don't have a percentage yet, but I reckon, like an official percentage, nobody's measured this for me yet, but I reckon I cover about 90% of the messages in the chat. So Jamie Armstrong Hitchings is here. Very rare for him to be here alive. I said alive. When he is here, he tends to be alive, but it's rare for him to be alive and live on the streams. He's one of those future dwellers. Normally, he watches this on the replay in the future. If you're in the future, hey, you future dweller, you want to get involved in the conversation, leave it in the comments, and I will do my best to get back to you there. And if you haven't already, please hit that like button, and we shall proceed with these Andor set pictures. Right. So, like I said before, more drone pictures. Now we think this is Andor. There's no like official confirmation. I don't suppose Lucasfilm or Disney will comment on pictures like these unofficial leaked pictures from drones. But they're in a little village called Little Marlow in Buckinghamshire, England, and these are new pictures. There's some good ones further down. Bear with me. So we've seen these bird's eye view shots before, similar ones anyway. Don't remember that big green crane being there in the previous shots, but here we go. Little bit of action here. I don't know. It looks like some sort of town, but we can see what either is like a kind of like pre-production debrief or briefing going on, or it could be a post-production. They're finished filming, having a little debrief together, or they could actually be filming. It could be some sort of standoff. Who knows? But we can see stormtroopers, traditional stormtroopers, which isn't surprising when we consider the time period that Andor is set in. So there is a number of stormtroopers. I'm guessing the people in the kind of burgundy outfits are a town folk, and I don't know, these people in black Imperial officers. I mean, obviously this is drone footage, drone stills, so I'm zooming in as much as I can, and it does get a bit blurry, but we can clearly see there are stormtroopers there. And also, I've said this before, this series has got movie production values to it. Very little green screens there, obviously some green sections and the cranes in green, so they can take that out in post. I think they're building a volume like the Mandalorian style volume, or they're building one or have built one in London, so there will be some of that, I'm sure. But it's great to see these big movie like sets there as well. And we can only assume that it's for Andor. We don't know for sure. It's, like I said before, never been confirmed by Disney. They're not going to confirm. They're not going to put their names to images like this, of course, like I just said. But we do know it's not Kenobi. And the two series that we thought would be in the UK. Well, we know Andor's in the UK. That's confirmed. But there was talk of Kenobi being in the UK, but that's since been confirmed by Ewan McGregor himself to be shooting in LA. So it's got to be Andor. It's got to be Andor. And it's definitely a Star Wars thing because there's stormtroopers there. Right. So staying with Star Wars, bit of a slow. I just saw this story like half an hour before coming on live, and it was a bit of a slow week, at least the Star Wars news I've seen. There wasn't much out there, so scraping the barrel a bit. But it's always good, I think, to have a bit of Mark Hamill in your life. Now, how do I stop this? We're back into clunky mode where I'm trying to work things out as I go along. So Mark Hamill, I would say, in my opinion, tell me if there's someone better out there. I would say Mark Hamill is, if there was only one Star Wars actor worth following on any social media platform, I would say Mark Hamill is the one. He is the one that you should follow. He's mostly pretty good value, and he replies to people. He gets involved with a lot of fun with the fans. You might remember, if you've seen The Empire Strikes Door, my Star Wars documentary, he had a little tweet cameo, a cameo tweet. And yeah, he interacted with me for the purpose of that documentary. So he's pretty cool. He's pretty cool on Twitter. And he's been playing around a bit with some fan theories. I think all of this happened since we last spoke. Like I said, slow news in the Star Wars world. But this is Cinema Blend, and the headline is, Mark Hamill had an A+ reaction to discovering a long-suspected Star Wars A New Hope conspiracy theory. Now, you tell me if you knew about this, but I did not know about this conspiracy theory. And the conspiracy theory is known, not to me, well, it is now, as a bigger Luke theory. Didn't know about this, and basically it centers around the idea that Luke Skywalker is shown at various different heights during A New Hope. I never noticed this, to be honest. Never knew about the conspiracy theory, and never noticed any discrepancies in the Hamill height department. But anyway, it's there. It's got its own Wikipedia page, Bigger Luke, it seems. And Mark Hamill, as always, bit of a class act. He does debunk the theory from a certain point of view. He says, looking for a really fun conspiracy, look no further. It's hard to believe how long we were able to fool everyone. But to be fair, the only time both of us appeared together at the same time was with Kermit on The Muppet Show. So there we have it. Mark Hamill and Luke Skywalker, two separate people. But this was the first I'd heard of Bigger Luke theory, and I'd never noticed differences in his height throughout A New Hope. But there we go. This is what my life has become this week. Getting deep into these sort of theories, but I like some fan theories. I don't, I take them all with a pinch of salt. Talked about this before, but I think it's fun. I think it's fun to speculate, and I prefer the more humorous ones. Darth Jar Jar's the best Star Wars one. I'm not branding that, as a joke, because the person who came up with it was not joking, and it was forensic in its delivery and backing up its theory. In terms of the moves Jar Jar was performing and what those moves might have meant, and in the background, of course, and also it triggered Ahmed Best. He himself never fully confirmed it, but has always said there is some truth to Darth Jar Jar. So fan theories are fun, that's fine. But anyway, there was a second thing from Mark Hamill, so I need to stop that. He has been busy providing me with something to talk about on this live stream. So thank you, Mark Hamill. And this is on CBR.com. Mark Hamill just learned a new Luke Skywalker fact. So this was just one day ago. Star Wars Mark Hamill gained some fresh insight into Luke Skywalker's troubles with technology thanks to a very observant fan. Now, this is not something I've thought about before, but it's something that I was aware of without realizing. This just seems so obvious when it's kind of presented to you. But Mark Hamill picked up this tweet from Reverend Matty, featuring Ludacris, of course. Where's Ja Rule? And the tweet from the Reverend Matty, which Mark Hamill quote tweeted, "How did I not see this until now?" goes as follows. How did it take me so long to notice this? The entire movie Star Wars is about how Luke Skywalker can't see anything using technology. At the end, he turns off his computer, relies on himself, and eyeballs the shot that destroys the scariest technology of all. Of course, the first of many Death Stars. So the first picture, we can see him struggling to look for... he's looking out, isn't he, for Tusken Raiders? And he says, well, there are two Banthas down there, but I don't see any. And it's that kind of thing. And he can't see through that. He can't see with the blast shield down. So he's moaning about that. He's moaning about not being able to see anything or through the helmet, the Stormtrooper helmet. And there we have that final picture where he ditches technology. And as Reverend Matty says, eyeballs the shot that destroys the scariest technology of them all. So that's pretty cool. And I couldn't imagine Harrison Ford on Twitter, and I'm not bashing Harrison Ford, because in his own way I think he's brilliant and a very funny guy, but you could never imagine if Harrison Ford was on Twitter, he'd just never engage with this kind of nonsense, would he? But Mark Hamill, clearly bored, nothing better to do, and I'm thankful for that. He certainly enjoys it and plays along, which I like. Right, so I'm going to come over to the chat for a bit before we get some Snyder Cut chat and Godzilla Kong as well. I can see Chad Campbell's in the chat, and that reminds me, you'll know Chad. You'll all know Chad. if you're new to the stream, let me tell you that Chad for Stopwatch Campbell, Chad is usually here to help me stay to time. It's never happened once. I try and do 30-minute streams, because we've all got things to do, haven't we? Well, you have. I haven't so much. I try and do a 30-minute stream, and it never happens. Chad's meant to help me. I mean, he fails me, basically. It's all his fault. So yeah, he might fail in keeping me to time, but let me tell you that Chad, the Stopwatch Campbell, does deliver in the mini documentary department. He's made a documentary which is now on YouTube. I have linked to it in the video description. Here is the poster. It's called Last Day for Videos, as you can, assuming that you can read, you can see on the poster, and it's just 7 minutes. 7 minutes of nostalgia tinged with a bit of modern day sadness. I guess it's looking at the decline of the video rental chains in the States. So I'm not from the States, and I know a number of people who will be watching tonight are not from the States, but I think it's something that we can all still relate to. So Family Video is the chain, and it's the documentary is following the final hours of a family video store before it closes its doors forever, which of course is a thing that's happened or been going on for years, really, all over the world. The video store has been killed off by the streaming site, and with that, it kills off, as you'll see in the documentary, an important part of a town's community in the process. But yeah, like me, if you're not from America, I think you can still you'll certainly enjoy this and still relate to it as well. I don't think we had Family Video in the UK, but we had Blockbuster. I remember them going. So we can definitely, wherever we're from in the world, relate to this. And Chad pointed out to me that I do know Family Video because it's the store that Steve and Robin get a job at the end of Stranger Things 3. So there we go. And Chad's made it on like zero budget. So go support it, like it, comment on it, algorithm it, basically. And I've put a link in the description. Just 7 minutes. Well worth it. Right. So we will come to Snyder Cut. We will come to Godzilla Kong, but let me come over to the chat first. I'm just catching up to where I was. So it was around a time where Jamie Armstrong Hitchings confirmed that he is alive. That is good. Confirmation that he is here live and is alive in his live on YouTube form. Stormtroopers on the balconies, for the Andor set pictures that we took a look at there. We've had our second hello there of the night. This one's come from Jack Hitchings. Hello, mate. And Jamie Armstrong also, we're alive and well. He's interacting like a healthy living man, human man. You are human, aren't you? Can you confirm that one for us, please, as well, Jamie? The sets do look great for Andor. They do look great, and it is cinematic production values. Jamie's not hugely excited for the series, but sure, it will look great. I've been growing in my excitement for this series. At first, I was a bit like, when it first got announced, I was a bit like meh towards it, but I'm growing. I think there's a lot of cool possibilities and also characters that we can, see in this series that don't have to be shoehorned into it, that I would like to see more of. Right. Gaz Nottingham, Hamill is the best of us. Absolutely brilliant guy. Yeah. I think, he's a safe bet, with the Star Wars interviews that I do for the channel. He's one that I would have no kind of like fear of coming away being disappointed with, because it does happen. It does happen when you meet people. They say never meet your heroes. I don't agree with that necessarily, but it can happen. People can obviously disappoint. You might just get them on a bad day, or maybe they might just be a bad person. But Mark Hamill's definitely not a bad person. Speaking of which, I'm really I'm getting some cool These Are the Actors You're Looking For episodes in the can. I've got one left, you see. I try and get them batch recorded as much as I can, so I don't have the pressure each month of having to deliver one. And I've got one more from like the last time I did a batch, and that's coming out the first Tuesday of the month as always. So April is week after next, 2nd of April anyway. And I'm starting to get the next batch, and I've got some really cool ones. I'm very pleased. That's all I'm going to tell you, but Mark Hamill's not one of them. unfortunately. Yes, you're here, Chad Campbell. You're late, but you didn't miss me talking about your documentary. And I guess that's the main thing for you. Right, Simon D, have you seen the late 70s, early 80s Blue Peter interviews with Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher? Mark's chilling with a cat on his lap and Chewie's awkwardly holding a turtle. They talk about the prequels too. I've seen some of those clips. Yeah, I think the BBC, there's like a BBC archive Twitter account, and I think they did something. They shared some clips. It might have been around the Rise of Skywalker release, and I think Mark Hamill quote tweeted those as well. But yeah, proper surreal, old school BBC children's television. So Blue Peter is still running, I think, but like maybe just digital only now. But it's like an old school children's TV show, sort of educational. Right. The height theory. Jamie had never heard of the height theory. Neither had I. Chad had never heard of the height theory either. Glenn is here. Hello, mate. You've made it live again. Last week you made it live, didn't you? Live and alive, which is how we like it. See, Chad's now trying to wrap me up. I've mentioned his documentary, and he's like, okay, your work's done here, Jamie. You can end the show now. Right. Where else? Gaz and Fluffy, Earth Chad. Daft Chad. Chad's getting some abuse. I mean, if this is in regards to the unless you deem it a good thing to be a Sith Lord, of course. If this is in regards to his timekeeping, I agree. If it's in regards to his documentary, it's good. Go and check it out. Glenn, what are you saying, man? Show to keep your eyes open for later this year from Amazon Prime, The Eye of the World, based on the fantasy book series by Robert Jordan. I will keep an eye out for that. Right. Liam Robertson, what is it now? Not to be a downer. Okay. See, I don't read messages before I put them on screen, but I can see not to be a downer. But I don't get why they would make an Andor series. He seems like a pretty unremarkable character, and I don't know why doing a series about him would be interesting. I mean, obviously I have to say, I did a video about like what we know so far about the series, and out of the like 10 people who watched it, I'd say it was pretty split in terms of who's excited and who's not. And I've shifted from not excited to excited. I quite liked him as a character. I agree he's not the most remarkable character, but I think he can hold his own as a lead character. And I think there's going to be a lot of interesting characters around him, new characters we know already. Like I'm sure we'll see Alistair Petrie's character. We're going to see Mon Mothma back. That's confirmed. I'm sure we'll get Jimmy Smits as Bail Organa. But I don't know. I think the time frame's really interesting. And just some of the lines that they say in Rogue One, and Andor says himself, I'm paraphrasing here, but things like, all of these terrible things we've done in the name of the rebellion. I think it's going to be quite dark and underground. And obviously he's a spy. So there's going to be a spy vibe to it. And you got to love a spy vibe. So I think there's a lot of potential. I think there's a lot of potential. It's obviously fine not to be excited about it. There's so much coming, for Star Wars and MCU. You can't be excited for all of it. You'll just be living a very frantic life, I would say. We all need to chill sometimes. So, I feel like this is quite 50-50 how people are feeling towards Andor. And it's definitely in the shadow of Kenobi and also probably more Mandalorian and Book of Boba. But I'm down for it. And I think Andor, there's a lot of backstory to tell about him and obviously the operation he's involved with. So no, I think there's a lot of potential. Pridonian, is also looking forward to it. So there's me and you. There's you and I. We're both looking forward to it. Yeah. If you're referring to me remembering that you were here live last week, yeah, good memory on that occasion. Not on many other occasions. Simon D's not looking forward to Andor. He found Cassian a bit bland and would rather a young Jyn Erso series or Donnie Yen's character. Donnie Yen's character was cool. I suppose there's a lot of those characters in Rogue One we definitely won't see because they meet for the first time, don't they, in Rogue One? And I think that would include Donnie Yen's character. 2. Yeah, you know what, Glenn? There was a time when I was a bit over interviewing stormtroopers, but I feel like I'm fresh again now. I'm fresh again, so I could probably manage another stormtrooper interview. Not an investigation, but the ones I'm recording at the moment are not stormtroopers. So there is none scheduled yet. Jack, have you got any Comic Cons that you'll be attending this year? I've got anything I'll be attending this year, to be honest. Once we're out of lockdown and all, I no is the answer. I've got nothing to attend this year so far, but I'm hoping that will change. Has anybody got anything like an event, like a Comic Con, or anything to attend? Obviously, we're all in different parts of the world, and there's different restrictions. We're allegedly in the UK going to be completely free from June 21st. And when I say completely free, that's saying completely free of all restrictions, including masks even. I don't think that's going to happen, but we shall see. But no Comic Cons. Do you know what? For the interviews, I like by the end of next week, I'm going to have like 5 These Are the Actors You're Looking For interviews in the can. Obviously, still need to be edited. But I would love to release more than one a week. But I can't do that at the moment. And that's partly down to Comic Cons not being on. When the Comic Cons are back on and there's one I can get to, and it's best for me with the interviews to go to one that's not too big and busy. But I can in one day do like 6 interviews, and they're in person. So they're generally better interviews as well. So from that point of view, I really need Comic Cons to come back when they're safe, of course. Right. We've got lots to get through, and I know Chad's going to be tapping that watch of his because we're already approaching 30 minutes. Right, if there's anything I've missed as I scroll down, and it's very important, then please copy and paste it back in. Rob Heaton's here. I think Andor could be just as good as Mando just because of the Rebellion Empire possibilities. Yeah. I agree. There's a lot of possibilities. There's a lot of potential. And I suppose they have the potential to take us into unfamiliar scenarios within familiar environments. As you mentioned, the Rebellion and the Empire, we feel like we know that time frame, and there's going to be people in outfits we recognize and language that we recognize. But again, they've still got the potential to take us in different directions with it. And I think that's cool. On Reg, it's because of the original trilogy era, which is interesting to many people. High Republic is not so interesting based on the like count on the videos on the Star Wars channel. I can't comment because I haven't read those books. I know I said I'd start reading just books in general, but I haven't yet. So I can't comment on that. But I have to say, do you know what I've noticed? In terms of the videos I'm putting out, because another thing I've been doing is just writing loads of sort of like trivia style videos. I put one this week out about Bail Organa in terms of behind the scenes. And also with the last These Are the Actors You're Looking For episode, sorry, the one before the last one was a prequel one. But anyway, I'm noticing that from my point of views, and I'm talking humble views, of course, when I do prequel related videos, they seem to be getting more reaction, certainly to anything kind of sequel era, but even to original trilogy era, which I think is quite interesting. I think it really has come round, doesn't it? People's attitudes towards the prequels. I don't know so much if it means people who didn't like the prequels now do like prequels, or is it simply just that the people who grew up with the prequels are now the dominant voice in the Star Wars online fandom? I don't know. But anyway, that's what I've noticed. Right, where am I? David, we're still on Andor. Need to get into Snyder Cut, and I've got to talk about a 4-hour film. I certainly appreciate the grittier, darker side of these stories that pertain to the original trilogy. It helps the storytelling feel tangible and true to George's original samurai Western vibe. I agree with that. Jack Hitchings, London Film and Comic Con. I know London Film and Comic Con. That's London Film and Comic Con, isn't it? London Film Comic Con. Yeah, LFCC. Yeah, I know London Film and Comic Con, the Showmasters guys. They're scheduled, aren't they, for is it late July? Do you know what? I'm going to say this. I hopefully won't be there, and I don't mean that in a nasty way. I'm not trying to avoid you, Jack. Don't worry. Or maybe you want that. I don't know. But I hopefully at the end of July have my first paid job since things really hit the fan, those things that hit fans for pandemic-y reasons, I'll hopefully be abroad, in Japan, to be precise, doing a job at a live event. So I won't be there. If I am there, it means my first bit of work, paid work, got cancelled. So I'll be there as an emotional wreck, I imagine. So I hopefully won't be there this year at London Film and Comic Con, but I mean that in a good way. If I am there, I'll hopefully see you there, Jack. Frogger, welcome. For a Frogger is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to. Right, where are we? I'm going to scroll down. Gypsy Road, hello, my friend. Haven't seen you in a while. Hope all is well with you, and I hope your channel's going well as well. The High Republic is more of a wait and see. Okay, then. I'm going to give it a go at some point. It's just reading. Just can't be bothered, to be honest. It's nothing personal to the High Republic and the likes to dislikes ratio on those videos. Right. Jamie, regarding the prequels, love has grown. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and of course, yeah, the Clone Wars. I mean, I haven't seen Rebels, but as I've mentioned many times, I am still working my way through all the Clone Wars. And yeah, they really do improve the prequels, don't they? So perhaps maybe people who didn't like the prequels so much have learned to like them more, learned to love them maybe through the Clone Wars. That's I could see that. That's a possibility, actually. I'm enjoying them more as I get more through them. David, the prequels can thank the sequels for making them look really good. They've got their good moments. There's good moments in the sequels. Simon D, regarding the prequels, I've come around to the prequels, especially having done a fan edit. Simon D has done a fan edit. I haven't seen it yet. I've had it for ages, haven't I? But I am going to watch it in the next couple of weeks. And you're probably thinking, Jamie, you've been saying that for the last couple of years, it feels like. But I am going to. And the reason why I haven't been able to, it's a bit like I mentioned with the Stormtroopers. Didn't want to talk to another Stormtrooper ever again at one point after the Empire Strikes Door. But Lightspeed Tonight, that thing is prequels heavy at the moment. It's set in that time frame. And you'll learn more about this next week. I'm going to be telling everybody on Patreon about it on Tuesday. And then I'll be probably telling everyone more about it a few days after that, probably on this live stream next week. But anyway, it's prequel heavy, and I had to watch the prequels a lot to pull it off. And I'm just about ready to watch more prequels. But yeah, the Simon D fan edit sounds good. And I will talk about it once I've seen it on the stream. Right, Frog has brought up the Snyder Cut, so I think it's time that I talk about that as well, because it is already 35 minutes into this stream. So Snyder Cut, hang on a second. I've got a screen I wanted to put up. I'm quite surprised by the I don't know if it's fair to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm quite surprised by the Rotten Tomatoes score it's got with the critics. I am surprised by that. 73%. Just okay, I'm going to tell you what I think of it, and I'm not a critic, obviously, but I just think that's quite high for the critics. It's not fashionable for them to rate films like this well. And I looked at the original Justice League 2017. It came out. Joss Whedon finishing the job. 40% from the reviews, the critics' reviews, and 71% from the audience. So, I mean, the critics seem to prefer this version, and the fans, wow, 96% do prefer this this version. So, yeah. Now, there's going to be some minor spoilers here, but like I said before, this is a film that really came out 4 years ago as plain old Justice League. So I don't really know if they can be classed as spoilers, but yeah, man, this felt like a chore going into it. I kept putting off watching it, when you've got to do something you don't really want to do, and you end up doing you end up just like putting it off and instead doing like, like really mundane household chores instead, just anything to put off doing this thing that isn't that bad, but you just kind of don't want to do it. I'd rather do some hoovering, So it took me a while to sort of really push myself into it. And I didn't like Justice League. I've said this before as well. It's like when you have a bad meal somewhere, you don't go back and ask for more of that bad meal. 4 hours worth of bad meal. In this case, waiter, can I have 4 hours of that disgusting bowl of hairy sweat soup that you served me last time I was here? I didn't like Justice League. Really did not like Justice League. And I didn't really care about this version, as much as I respect how it came to be, the fan movement, and also Zack Snyder getting to complete his supposed original vision, which I'll come on to in a moment. And also the power of an edit. The edit can, does make a film, and it can change a film, entirely in its tone. And yeah, I just didn't really care. But I got curious and I watched it in multiple sittings. I probably watched it in 4 parts in the end. So yeah, like 4 1-hour sittings, and it still has a lot of the problems of the original for me. It's very messy in places. It's very uneven between being entertaining and dull, very dull at times. For me, anyways, just for me, a little overly self-serious as well, and the story wasn't engaging particularly first time round, and it wasn't much more engaging this time for me. However, there are a lot of improvements to it as well, and I think looking at the score there, that the audience score of 96%, I think a lot of people preferred this version, and there was definitely way more action and a lot more character building as well. With double the runtime, you kind of expect those things, I suppose. I really liked the Aquaman and the Wonder Woman moments as well, little moments with them, and the cyborg origin stuff was cool. And in the epilogue, the Batman and Joker scene, which I think they showed some in the trailer, didn't they? That was great, but not, in my opinion, not the best Batman and Joker scene. For me in live action, that is still the Dark Knight interrogation scene. But there's been a lot of people raving about that, labeling it as the best ever Batman and Joker scene, and that's fine. That's what they think. I'm still with the Dark Knight on that. But speaking of Batman, because Batman is my, that's the one superhero I would, I'll watch any Batman film and really look forward to any Batman film. He is my number one in the superhero department, and that includes MCU as well. Batfleck grew on me loads in this film. Wasn't a fan really. Batman v Superman and also Justice League 2017. Maybe it's because of the film he was in. I've now decided he's a great Batman. Batfleck is great, but just in bad films. And I kind of feel for him, really. But again, this is just my opinion. Clearly, a lot of people think this is a great film. 96% again from the audience there. But yeah, we were talking about our favorite Batmans ages ago on one of his live streams, and I think I even put George Clooney above Ben Affleck. Probably mostly down to those bat nipples of his. Yeah, but no, I'm in on Batfleck now. It's a shame that we're not going to get any more, are we? As far as I know, correct me if I am wrong, but no. There was a lot of improvements, a lot of positives from this version for me. And it was way more watchable. And I think if you break it down into shorter chunks, dare I say, going down that kind of that way of consuming it, it's even enjoyable. It was even enjoyable. It felt like a real home release thing, to watch it in installments. And I think Zack Snyder said that was the intention, to break it down, for people to watch it in separate sittings. But was that a new intention, or his original vision. It can't have been his original vision because, he was commissioned to make a single theatrical release. And surely you've got to be able to tell this story in 3 hours tops, surely. So I'm kind of thinking how much of this really was his complete original vision, and that original vision, of course, is going to, evolve as time goes on and when you get into the edit as well. But I think that's the way to enjoy it. If I would have struggled. I struggled to get through it first time round, and watching an even longer version. If I watched this in the theater, in the cinema, I would have struggled to come out of this, as positive as I am now. If I had to sit there in one sitting for it, but having those breaks and coming back to it, I quite enjoyed it. I still don't think it's a good movie, but it was definitely watchable and definitely an improvement. And, I think if the fans who pushed for it love it, and it seems that they do, again, looking at these ratings, that's great. And also vindication for an artist's vision is great as well. And but overall, really, I'm not looking for more of the Snyderverse. But I am looking forward to the Batman and also Black Adam with the interesting casting news of Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. So, right, just quickly on Godzilla Kong, because really, I've been rambling on. We've been rambling on about, what were we rambling on about earlier? But I'm going to come over to what you guys who have seen the Snyder Cut thought of it in just a moment. But let me just bring up this Godzilla Kong thing. Oh, by the way, first of all, just want to do my... there's Chad's documentary poster again. A link to this in the video description. Chad, who's a regular on the stream, he's made a 7-minute documentary about home family videos in the States, and he went to one of the stores for their final hours before closing their doors forever. And it's really interesting. It's sad as well, but very interesting. So go and check that out if you can. But this is my meme of the week. This isn't going to be like a new feature or anything, but I saw this courtesy of Steel Wars, I think on Instagram. Just made me laugh. Really enjoyed this. Yeah, meant to show you that earlier. But anyway, this is what happens. I make it like a plan and I don't ever follow the plan. Right, so let's just do Godzilla Kong very quickly. So I think this comes out in the States tomorrow, maybe. And it's on HBO Max. It's the UK on April 1st, April Fool's Day. So will it really be released? Is this just some kind of big joke? I do not know. But yeah, the early reviews are out. And to be honest, it sounds exactly what I'm hoping for. These are it's getting okay reviews, but the kind of positives, even in the bad reviews, are exactly what I want from this film. So I'm on the Enemy website, which have put some of the reviews in one place very kindly for me. First reactions: it packs a real wallop, does Godzilla vs. Kong. Mostly delivers on its promise of a big monster fighting another big monster. That's all I'm here for, to be honest. Let's get a couple more reactions. It's got some low scores, some okay scores. 3 stars from Games Radar. I think Empire gave it 2 stars. So many adverts on these websites. 2 stars from Empire. Godzilla vs. Kong mostly delivers on its promise of a big monster fighting another big monster. It just depends whether you're willing to sit through the toe-curlingly bad setup that surrounds it. Now, I've just bashed, minor bashing for Justice League. So, I'm probably contradicting myself here, but I don't care about the setup around the big monster fighting the big monster. I am only here, big monster fighting the big monster. Okay? And this is the one I've been looking for. Brandon Davis of comicbook.com has summed it up as exactly what I wanted it to be. And that's exactly what I wanted it to be. Giant fights, and they're just so much fun to watch. It's a big, ridiculous, awesome movie. I know it's going to be dumb. We all know that, don't we? But I'm not here. I'm not there for the for any kind of intellect of any sort. I am there for big, dumb fights between 2 big monsters. Speaking of which, this made me laugh. Not as much as that meme That meme is wonderful, but this did make me laugh. Apparently, it's been around for a long time, but I'm always slow. This is on Colossal. This is colossal.com. Japanese monster figurines apologize for their destruction at press conference podiums. They are the action figures that you're looking for. I'm looking for, at least. They are cool. I am actually genuinely, I'm not really a collector. I don't buy many toys, but I am genuinely going to look into making a purchase of one of these. I've always wanted a figure of Godzilla apologizing for his destructive behavior at a press conference. So I will get that in my life. Right. I'm coming over to the chat. So tell me what you thought of anything we've just discussed. I can't remember now. I've been rambling so much for like 50 minutes now. So let me know what you thought of Snyder Cut if you've seen it. I'm at the bottom of the chat, so I'm going to work my way up a little bit to the last message I saw before we got into Snyder Cut chat was from Frogger. Late, but not too late yet. Right. Whoa. Okay, so this is, I've gone off topic again. It's not about Snyder Cut, but Pridonian asking me, did I interview the stormtrooper who bumped his head in A New Hope? Did I interview him? I made a bloody documentary on him, mate. A whole documentary. 45 minutes, maybe more. I interviewed 3 of the stormtroopers who bumped their head because 3 different men claimed to be that stormtrooper. And the initial plan was just to simply interview the stormtrooper that bumped his head, like a 7-minute interview or something when it's edited. And then I kept finding, I was looking for someone and kept finding someone's. There was a number of them coming out of the Death Star woodwork with this claim. So, yeah, it became like a full-on investigation and a documentary called The Empire Strikes Door. So, yeah, please look that up. I'm going to be eternally disappointed by that 3 or 4 year thing in terms of the views, because that's validation, right? So please check it out. The Empire Strikes Door. If you go on the channel, I know you're subscribed. I think it's when you're not subscribed, it plays automatically the trailer. But anyway, The Empire Strikes Door. It's got a playlist on the homepage of the channel, and it's the long video in that playlist. Right. David Milano talking about Andor. You're excited for Andor, even though we have to wait for season 2 for K2SO. Yeah, Alan Tudyk has confirmed that, hasn't he, already? He said that he will be involved, but not yet. So we seem to be pretty sure that it's not going to be a limited thing. There's going to be multiple seasons of what am I talking about? Andor! Glenn the Hippie, those videos are what drew me in after the first one with Ahmed Best, of course. Yeah, these are the actors you're looking for, interviews. They'll keep on going. At the moment, 1 a month, but hopefully we can increase the release schedule. But first Tuesday of the month is the schedule at the moment for These Are the Actors You're Looking For. Early access on Patreon, of course. Right. Talking about events, Simon D has a ticket for John Barry, James Bond music concert at the Royal Albert Hall for the summer. Whether it happens, who knows? I suppose with an indoor venue, it probably depends how many tickets they've sold. If they're selling them at reduced capacity, like with seats between each other, I think there's every chance that could happen in the summer. But if they're going for full house, no social distancing, then it's a little bit more of a gamble, isn't it? Indoors anyway. But I hope you get to go, mate. It sounds good. Right. Gypsy Road liked the Snyder Cut. Pridonian agrees with Rob. I don't know what on, but just so you know, Rob, Pridonian agrees with you. 2 minutes left. That was a long time ago, wasn't it? That was just before I started rambling on about Snyder Cut. Yeah, just embrace the 1 hour format, Jamie, in which case 10 minutes. Kia, hello, mate. If I could be in one of the new shows, which would it be? Star Wars. Very good question. I mean, I just want to be an alien. I wouldn't really necessarily want my face to be seen, although my face probably could pass for an alien. I would probably. I'd probably go for Kenobi. I know it's the obvious choice, but I think that's going to be the most iconic. And I can, say I was in a series with Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker and whoever else is going to pop up. Maybe a Qui-Gon. So yeah, I'd probably go with that. I hope you're well, Kia, by the way. Right, where am I? Snyder Cut. Okay, so this is Frogger. Snyder Cut was definitely better than the cinematic cut of Justice League. Not a perfect movie, which doesn't exist. You're right there. I agree. There's no such thing. You're always going to find, if you're looking for problems, and that's, the job of a critic, you're going to find problems, even in so-called perfect movies. But a very decent comic book movie. It was enjoyable. It was enjoyable. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Glenn didn't like either version of, I don't know what's going on with my voice here, of Justice League, but happy for those who liked. Yeah, you know what? Like the movement that made the Snyder Cut thing happen is great, and it's great that it's paid off. For the people that made it happen. Because it looks like the fans who wanted it are very happy with it. I've really enjoyed it, and that's the main thing. I wonder how much the pandemic, made this a possibility. Obviously, film companies, like most companies in all industries, have got their profits down at the moment. If films were still being released in cinemas and the money was coming in as normal, would there have still been the same appetite from like Warner to do this? I don't know. So perhaps the pandemic also helped make it happen. But yeah, like you said, I'm happy that the fans seem happy with it. Right, Rob Heaton. I think I've been skipping. I think like the chat thing's been moving because I keep seeing messages. I'm getting confused. But anyway, Rob Heaton. I think the high critic score reflects their general desire for less studio meddling in big blockbuster films. More so than the Zack Snyder cut itself. Yeah, that's possible. That's possible. And the story, again, like I said before, the movement behind this film is a positive thing that I think people can get behind. And then also, I suppose as well, it is a better movie. It's a longer movie, but it's a better movie than, in my opinion, than the first one. So if you're comparing it to the first one and not treating it as a brand new film, then if you're comparing it to that film you really didn't like I was, then you're going to probably lean in a more positive direction towards the Snyder Cut. Yeah, thanks, Frogger. It looks like I'm embracing it. With 5 minutes off being another hour. You fell asleep at the theatre for Justice League. Yeah, well, it sounds like that. That's probably what led to you sleeping. I don't know whether it was the movie or the part, but yeah, I have to be very careful going into films because I sleep quite easily in dark places. Physically, not mentally. I'd be sleeping all the time with the dark place I'm in, but yeah, I watched it on a plane once as well and fell asleep very early on in it. But I didn't fall asleep in the theatre for Justice League, but I definitely struggled to get through it. Scoot is here. Scoots. It's all right, my friend. It's all right. It's all right. Jamie, as a DC Comics fan, I know I should watch the Snyder Cut, but I hate the DC films, and the moment I saw the runtime, I was put off. Even worse, when I saw it was the 4:3 ratio. I didn't like that. I didn't like the little boxy ratio thing. To be honest, I don't know if they were just trying to be all trendy or they're trying to make it actually seem bigger by making it smaller. It didn't work. I didn't like it. But if you do go for it, don't sit there for 4 hours and battle through it. Just treat it like watching 4 1-hour shows on Netflix or something. That's how I did it, and I made it. I survived. Right, Chad. I watched all of the Snyder trilogy in a row and honestly found it to be fantastic. It has plenty of problems, but as a lifelong DC film, I really felt what it was going for, and and embraced it. I don't think we're getting any more Snyderverse. That I'm sure I read some quotes saying that's it for the Snyderverse, but obviously not that for DC films. And like I said before, the Batman looks very promising. They've been filming that in the UK, and I know it got riddled with COVID issues. People catching it and what have you, and obviously the initial lockdowns as well. But I think they've wrapped. So maybe we'll get a solid release date sometime soon. Man of Steel grew on me. Man of Steel did grow on me. Is that it? Is that it for Man of Steel? Like, is it officially it, or they've just never announced anything, but equally have never said that's it for Man of Steel? Right, Scoots, Nikolaki. I'd only watched the original cut up to the bit where those guys tried to blow up the Old Bailey. That's quite early on, isn't it? Or whatever that building was. I don't know what building that was, but in London, when Wonder Woman comes in and saves the school kids, yeah. So I watched the Snyder Cut with no preconceptions. So what did you think of the Snyder Cut, Nikolaki? But you didn't make it very far through the original cut. I can't really remember the original cut, but I'm assuming that was quite early on, the Wonder Woman scene, because obviously it's before she joins up with the gang. Chad enjoyed the ratio. It was shot with IMAX cameras, which is 4x3, so we got to see the film as intended. Okay, I didn't know that. That's fair enough. It didn't work for me, but you know what? That doesn't mean it ain't good. If anything, it probably means it is good if it didn't work for me, because what's this? Scoot's not going to see the Snyder versions. Well, yeah, I mean, if you've got HBO, what is it, HBO Max in the States? If you've got it anyway, why not give it a go in small sittings? But I mean, if you got to pay for it, then yeah, if you didn't like Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, you're probably not going to like this. So maybe don't go out of your way. Batfleck really grew on me again. I'm going to say that again, and I think it's a shame that that's presumably it. I think I even read a lot. I think so, because obviously Snyder's been doing lots of press. I think someone asked him, like, would you do more? And he said, of course. I think he said he would, but it'd be very difficult to get Affleck back involved. Do you reckon this? No. So Simon's asking, do I think this could encourage a solo Lord and Miller cut? I don't think Lucasfilm would ever go down this path. I think I'm going to make a video next week about films that have kind of like mystical cuts, like we've decided that there is another cut out there for a film, or that we know there's another cut for a film out there. It's like the R-rated Mrs. Doubtfire cut, for example. I suppose from a mystical point of view, the JJ cut for Rise of Skywalker. But I don't think Lucasfilm will ever go down that path, especially maybe they'll release some deleted scenes finally for the Rise of Skywalker. But I don't think they'll ever do anything with Lord and Miller, because I suppose they were technically fired, weren't they? So I don't think they'd go down that path. But who knows? It's just my opinion. Right. I can see there's a lot of chat about Justice League. If there's anything you desperately want me to put on screen that is suitable to be put on screen, of course, please copy and paste it back in, because I'm working my way down. I'm speeding through because we now are an hour in. And I've got a super chat. Thank you, Scoots. I mean, that's because you were late, right? Guilt has got the better of you. I'm not reading that out. But thank you very much, Scoots. I've read it, but I'm not reading it out. It's on screen. So you got that. Right. Glenn and Jamie, I can see, are getting on very fine. Michael Keaton has shown some reluctance to return to Batman UK. What? Hang on a second. Is like Michael Keaton anti-UK? Like, he doesn't want to come and film Batman if it's in the UK. What's his problem with the UK? What's his beef with the UK? Or have I just read that wrong? I'm a fan of Brosnan. I like Brosnan, so that casting news is great for Black Adam. And I've got high hopes for the new Batman film. Gypsy Road watching Kong tomorrow at the theater. What is this new devilry? You leaving your home to watch a film in a place, an environment that isn't your home? Wow, that's nostalgic. In fact, right. I think I've got to go. Chad is dropping the hints. Tristan's here right at the end. Tristan has arrived. And Nicolaki has reported back that he did enjoy the Snyder cut and he managed it in one sitting. Fair play, my friend. And just before I go, Simon's come back on the Michael Keaton story. There was a story about Michael Keaton on Empire. He was going to be Batman. Oh, this is more of a... Oh, okay, this is more recent. Yeah, I got... Because he is meant... I thought he is. Was that never confirmed, the Michael Keaton coming back as Batman story? But I only think The Batman is filming in the UK. I'm not sure about any other DC projects at the moment filming in the UK, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if the COVID fears. I mean, look, to be fair, there's more COVID in the States than the UK. So right now, Michael Keaton on that kind of line of thought, Michael Keaton ain't appearing in any films anytime soon. I didn't know that. Could well be true, though. Yeah, see, now Chad's turning into the villain, trying to wrap me up, and everyone's like, hey, no, Jamie, carry on. We're enjoying your rambling. An hour's good. Right, we're over an hour now. Thank you, Jamie. Chat popping off today. Great show. Thanks, Jamie. Thank you, Jamie. And thank you from Jamie, and also from me being Jamie too, to all of you in the chat. I'm gonna read these last two comments, but just before I forget, thank you to all Patreon members as well, because I'm very good at forgetting. Not you. I'd never forget you. I'm just very good at forgetting to put the graphic up. But David, I'm going to do these last few comments. Sorry if I've not. There has been a lot of chat comments tonight. So sorry if I have missed them and I've not kept to my 90% success rate. That's my guesstimate success rate. David, I don't understand anyone who can get too much of these live streams. Who cares about the time when you're having a good time chatting with your friends? That is true. A part of my problem is how long have you got? But a part of my problem in terms of the live stream is, and I mentioned this in the early days, the shed that I'm temporarily using, although it's been months already, probably it's going to be a couple more months before I'm out of this shed. I don't have any, I can't plug in. So everything I'm using around me, the lights and the laptop are just running on their batteries. So that's why I originally was doing shorter streams, but I completely agree with you. And one day when I've got a better setup and all that, we will release the Stangroom 4-hour stream. It's gonna happen. There's support for Chad in the chat in terms of his terrible timekeeping. What else? Done that. I did give him this job. I also set the 30-minute deadline. Chad, I should point that out. Chad did not set the 30-minute deadline. I wonder how many subscribers I've lost from this week's stream. I'll check afterwards. I lost loads. Like if I ever need to shed subscribers, because that's what you do on YouTube, right? I just do a live stream. It seems to work, and I just say I like The Last Jedi. It seems to trigger people to hit that unsubscribe button. Thank you, Jack Hitchings. Have a good one, Frogger. There's the support once again for Chad from Tristan. Philip Hawkins is in the house, checking in late. If you've got time, Philip, like literally in like 1 minute, tell me what you thought of the Snyder Cut if you've seen it. Thank you, Rob. And the Jamie cut, yeah, it's coming. The Paul Bettany unsubscribe. Oh, that was that stream, wasn't it? Oh, that's what I had loads of technical problems that stream, didn't I? Playing the clips and what have you. look, even when I get like a better computer and better internet and, you know, actual like plug-in electricity, these streams are always going to be a mess. I'm always going to ramble and I'm always going to have technical difficulties. That ain't ever going to change. It will always be a shambolic stream. But yeah, Paul Bettany probably was one of the ones that subscribed. No, I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Simon. All of you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for showing up. And also, I'm looking forward to seeing Simon's prequels fan edit. I know it's a bit of a tricky one to make public, isn't it, Simon? But I will definitely talk about it once I've seen it on the stream. And if there's a way of sharing it with others, maybe we can figure that out. Like, so you know when like U2 concerts, when Bono does that thing where he says, like, you know, every time I can't click my fingers, but you can imagine every time I click my fingers, you know, a child somewhere in the world dies of whatever. It's like that on my streams. Every time I say I like The Last Jedi, a subscriber doesn't die. I don't think it's that severe, but a subscriber does unsubscribe. That's exactly what it is. Like, it's not a perfect film. We said this earlier. There's no such thing as a perfect film. It's far from a perfect film. But overall, I liked The Last Jedi. Okay, so Philip Hawkins is only an hour into Snyder Cut. It's better than 2017's, but still has issues. Essentially what I said, you're only an hour in. Like, I did separate sittings. I don't know if you're planning on plowing through. 65 minutes later, Chad, you're rubbish. Only joking, of course. Thank you, Chad. Thank you for trying at least. It's my fault, really. Kino's arrived just at the end. I mean, I'm trying to end it. I'm trying to, honestly. This is the part where you have to hang up on me, please, because you hang up. No, you hang up. Yeah, I'm only slightly less annoying than Bono, and only slightly less minted than Bono as well. I definitely have more musical ability than Bono, that's for sure. Right. Thank you, Scoots. Thank you again for that. Not for the words, but for the live chat, super chat, and also Jamie the super chat. And no, you keep rambling. No, I'll keep rambling. No, hang up. That's what I meant. No, you hang up. You know what? Like, obviously, like, we are having a conversation. There shouldn't be anyone hanging around my shed. That would be weird. That would be a problem if anyone's hanging around outside the shed. But if there was, obviously we are having a conversation. But, you know, from someone hanging outside the shed's point of view, this is just me shouting at myself, basically. And they're just thinking, there he is. Crazy old Jamie up to his old tricks again. Right, everybody. Thank you very much. Chad has, you know, he's spoken. The timing has not been good tonight. I'm sorry. I've let you all down, but I will be back next week to probably break another live stream record. This is the longest one ever, I think. So thank you, everybody. Take care. And if there's anything I missed that needs addressing, stick it in the comments and I will get back to you there. But if not, I will see you all this time next week.